Out of the many sights and sounds, if there were unlucky smells, it would assail visitors to an 80s primary school playground. One of the most common and recognisable involved a small child raising an imaginary sword above his head and synonymously intoning, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!" Although the child was likely not as muscled, nor hopefully as half-dressed as the titular character, it makes only the most passing acquaintance to the 80s pop culture to recognise this as a signature phrase of He-Man. Eponymous hero of the Masters of the Universe animated series, shining star of toy shops everywhere. Born in 1982 as a 5.5-inch action figure, He-Man's alter ego was Prince Adam, son of King Randor and Queen Melina, rulers of the planet Eternia. Adam's metamorphosis into the powerful He-Man occurs when he raises his magical power sword and proclaims his much imitated catchphrase, transforming into a muscle-bound barbarian wearing little more than furry shorts and a skimpy breastplate. He-Man broke new ground in combining fantasy and science fiction, two genres which have largely been kept separate in toy lines before. He-Man's power may derive from the magic of the Heart of Eternia itself, but he'd also use technology and advanced weaponry. Whilst a player with 1982 He-Man figure could net around £20 online, if you're lucky enough to discover a mint-boxed version of He-Man and his Wind Raider, Assault Lander, in your loft, you could expect a much greater payday. One sold last year for a whopping £12,750 at auction. It's not just Adam who receives a muscly makeover when you holds his power sword aloft. His pet green tiger, Cringer, so called for his nervous demeanour, transforms into the huge armoured battle cat, a noble steed who carries He-Man into combat and, with his fearsome claws, is a worthy adversary on his own right. Worth around £15 to £20, Prince Adam keeps his secret identity hidden from most to protect his family safety, but there are a few who know the truth. Man-at-Arms, or as is known in the cartoon, Duncan, a faithful veteran soldier and father to Adam's sometime love interest, Teela. The wise sorceress possesses a vast knowledge of Eternia's history and magic, and Orko, an enchanter from another dimension, and the last of his kind. Also with many collectible conditions is everything, with the mint unopened Man-at-Arms garnering £1,800 in 2022, and a similar condition Orko recently selling for £600 on eBay. He-Man's terrifying and numerous enemies are led by Skeletor, a blue-skinned sorcerer with a skull for a face, who is hell-bent on conquering Eternia and using its magic for evil. Many of today's valuable figures are members of Skeletor's army of evil warriors. A mint-in-box 1982 version of Skeletor himself sold for over £4,000 in 2023. Other valuable baddies, including Fakor, a devious blue-skinned robot doppelganger of He-Man, in reality a simple repaint of the He-Man mould, who garners between £100 and £200 online. Beastman, Skeletor's right-hand man, who controls wild animals and could net up to £3,000 if mint and unopened. And the giant Megator, a green-skinned, long-haired, enormous baddie, whose rarity could attract bids up to £3,000. Castle Grayskull lies at the heart of the battle between good and evil, being both home to the power that allows Adam to transform into He-Man, and the focus of Skeletor's dastardly attempts to uncover the fortress secrets and gain ultimate power. The castle looks exactly as it sounds, with a huge grey skull forming the building's front. The aesthetic can be confusing. The original marketing team assumed it must be Skeletor's lair, given the visual similarity. A good condition Castle Grayskull playset with its original packaging can likely net you about £400 online, while the three-towered Eternia playset is probably the franchise's most valuable, with a mint box 1986 version attracting several thousands online. This whopping 3x4 foot construction is built as the ultimate battleground and features a plastic monorail connecting miniature versions of Castle Grayskull and Skeletor's Snake Mountain. Whilst He-Man's heroic exploits are concerned with the noblest values of good versus evil, he was born from a much baser quest: money. In the late 1970s, Mattel was offered the chance to buy the license for unknown future film series. Even though the team behind this franchise were adamant it would be a huge, popular and financial success, the over £500,000 license fee they were demanding up front, a figure equivalent to around about $3 million today, was too rich for Mattel's CEO Ray Wagner's blood. As the company passed, the license would later go to Kenner, and as the film became a cultural juggernaut and changed movie making forever, Kenner's Star Wars toys would also revolutionise the action figure market and make an awful lot of money. Therefore, the early 80s saw Mattel on the hunt for a product to eclipse Star Wars success. Purchasing the existing license would curb profits, so they decided to design a property in-house and entirely from scratch. Designer Robert Sweet made the breakthrough, going back to Mattel's existing Big Jim toy line. He used modelling clay to bulk up the toy's muscles. A sword-wielding barbarian emerged, and after focus groups confirmed its appeal, He-Man was given the green light. It wasn't all plain sailing though. He-Man's appearance possessed more than a passing resemblance to Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1982 portrayal of Conan the Barbarian. A resemblance that led to a 5-year legal battle with Mattel, eventually won when the judge ruled they hadn't infringed Conan's copyright. But Mattel realised they'd missed an essential element of the 80s marketing: television. Capitalising on the relaxation of laws that forbade advertising to children, Experienced Studio Filmation produced a groundbreaking animated series and catapulted the line to huge popularity. Viewers will recall the slightly strange section at the end of each episode where a central character would address the child directly and give a moral to the story they had just witnessed, which ranged in its essence from don't do drugs to get your sleep, to what is, given the cartoons here are rather surprising, your brain is more powerful than any muscle. These homilies were an attempt to mitigate the controversy generated by such blatant advertising of the toys, although parents and children would probably disagree on how effective they were. For several years, He-Man rode high with annual sales, peaking in 1986 at over £300 million. But by 1983 it was all over, with a staggering 98% drop in revenue in just 12 months. Many factors can be blamed for this catastrophic decline. 1987 saw the release of the wildly unpopular live-action Masters of the Universe movie. Boys hated the recent introduction of She-Ra, a female equivalent to He-Man, and Prince Adam's twin sister. Newer toys stole attention, and Mattel released even more waves of figures, with even flimsier concepts, often appearing to be nothing more than blatant cash grabs. Regardless of this reason, 1987 did what Skeletor never could: kill He-Man. But Eternia, as the name suggests, endured. The franchise has been rebooted several times over the years with varying levels of success. The most prominent is probably director Kevin Smith's 2021 reimagining for Netflix under the banner Masters of the Universe Revelation. That courted controversy with fans over some surprising creative choices. The third series, Revolution, dropped in January, and there's no firm word on the series' future. One thing is certain though: He-Man's struggle for good over evil, his iconic catchphrase, and of course those furry shorts will live long in the minds of all those 80s kids in the playground.